All right, and welcome back to a Raptors podcast. I am your host, as always, Lucky Roberts, as it's another bad 3 games of horrible losses as I join you now in 2025. New year, new Raptors, right? Probably not, as the Raptors have their biggest loss in franchise history against the Boston Celtics by just over 50 points. 54-point loss against the Boston Celtics. Look, did I expect it? No. Am I surprised? No. The Toronto Raptors just show nothing, as it's one of the poorest Scotty Barnes performances I've seen in his entire career. He's a negative 39. He scores 16 points. He gets 13 rebounds. Sure, he's not poor in that way, but just seeing him on the court, he's forcing these threes that just keep on missing, and he's not really passing the ball as efficiently as you'd like him to see. Obviously, when you're shooting 31% and 25% from three, it's not going to be a good day for you assist wise, but Scotty Barnes just doesn't, he seems like he's out there with no passion, no nothing, and it's just tough to see because it's a team that showed a lot of passion earlier on in this season. But if we look at these last 3 games, it's a 30-point loss, a 30-point loss, a 50-point loss. And it just seems like this team wasn't able to keep up their youthful exuberance. And we're seeing now the culmination of losing in this team, and it's manifesting itself in poor performance after poor performance. The Raptors get absolutely dominated by a Boston Celtics team. Sure, they played their entire roster. You should never lose 50 plus in a game ever, especially after losing by 32 times in a row. And sure, we've seen some development of some players here on the Raptors, but it has to lead to some victories, as the Raptors are now 7-26 and are currently one of the worst teams in the NBA, still without RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, and Grady Dick. So if that's what you want to have your excuses be, they are available there. But if you look in the entire NBA currently, the only teams worse are the New Orleans Pelicans and the Washington Wizards. The Raptors are in pole position for a top draft pick in this upcoming draft, as we've lost 11 in a row. That's the most in the NBA. Right beside the Pelicans, 10 in a row. And the Raptors are struggling. And I think it's time to blow whatever we've got left to salvage it. Blow it up. Whatever we can salvage out of this team, that's what we should try to do. If we need to trade Jakob Poeltl, that's what we need to do. Because I don't think this Raptors team is going to come back this season and compete. And I don't think this Raptors team would even want to. And so, look, we trade away Poeltl. We sign another big man in free agency. We draft another big man to come in and be our Poeltl replacement. But the rest of this season, I think it's chalk up and it's done. And let's just continue our losing. Let's get our first round pick when we can get it. Another disappointing performance. I mean, look, if you want to see our shining performers, Poeltl with 13 boards, 2 steals and a block is kind of impressive. Jamison Battle came in and hit 3 threes. I mean, and I guess Davion Mitchell was efficient. Other than that, there's nothing from this team, and you see us scratching the bottom of the barrel with AJ Lost and with Ulrich Shamshay giving us 5 minutes. That's how poor this game got for us. Bruce Brown's come in this season and has not been impressive. He's been back for 2 games now, and I didn't really see it with him. I thought, trade him while we can, get something for him, and I still think that is what my opinion of Bruce Brown is. Of course, he's out once again, but he's the type of player where you find a lot of Bruce Browns everywhere, and he's sort of surviving on this reputation of being ultra switchable defender, super hard working, a little bit of playmaking chops as well, and First of all, we have a lot of those guys, and we don't have a lot of shooters, which Bruce Brown is definitely not. We have a lot of switchable guys. He's not that big. He's getting up in age, and he's not going to get any better. And we have younger guys who are already better. So if somebody else wants to buy on that theoretical version of Bruce Brown, I say we take it. If somebody wants to buy in on the theoretical version of Kelly Olynyk, who's been pretty good for a horrible Raptors team who still only has one away win on the season, let them do it. We'll start Kelly Olynyk. We'll start Chris Boucher. This is an atrocious Raptors team, which showed so much promise. And I think we're going to wait, as Masai always does, to the last possible moment to pull the trigger on a trade. Just hopefully nobody gets sustainably injured for that long, and we're able to make the moves that we need to make as we look into 2024. And I'm already looking ahead towards the draft with still about 15 weeks left in this NBA season. So you tell me how I want to do 15 more episodes. I'm not sure, but I've always seemed to figure out how. As we move on to this Hawks game, I mean, look, the Celtics dominated us. I don't really want to dwell on it anymore. Peyton Pritchard was great. Derek White was great. Drew Holiday was great. Everybody's super efficient. Jason Tatum got on the free throw line, plus 38. Exact mirror to Scotty Barnes' negative 39. Seemed like they matched minutes, both those guys, and Scotty Barnes got drenched. The Hawks versus the Raptors. The Raptors lose 136-107. That is a 29-point loss against the Hawks. Once again, didn't lead for any particular part of this game against the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Hawks improved to 18-15. I thought they were going to be pretty good this year, and Trae Young with another impressive plus 39, as Scotty Barnes with minus 34. Doesn't shoot as many threes in this game. Did have similar amount of turnovers with 8, which is really unfortunate thing to see, because that's a part of his game you want to see him develop going into the future. He's somewhat efficient in this one. 5 assists, 3 steals, but only plays 35 minutes, and once again it seems to be walking through the playmaking side of his game. And the Hawks, like, you've seen development from these guys. Jalen Johnson, Ricochet has been really coming on of late. He started in this one. Okongwu I've always been a really big fan of. He'd be a guy I'd love to get in a trade as a backup replacement for Jakob Poeltl. DeAndre Hunter as well, coming off the bench. He's a real shining star for them, especially when he's efficient from 3, as he was in this one, 2 for 3. Keaton Wallace, not really familiar with his game, but he had some threes as well. He's sort of their Jameson battle, I think. And look, Trae Young is just too much for the Raptors at this current moment, especially with the shooters he's got around him. Clint Capella is probably equal to a Jakob Poeltl, and nobody wants to admit it. And yeah, the Raptors were outclassed, and we still can't seem to find any buckets. And now we can't seem to find any buckets with Quickly, with RJ, with Dick out, and that's sort of the strength of this team. We aren't really a strong defensive team, as you see us let up 155, 125, and 136 in the last 3 games. 155, the most scored points against the Raptors ever, which I'll be getting to in a second here. And yeah, it seems like the Raptors really have phoned it in for the holidays. Total with a negative 25 plus minus. Our bench was actually even. Boucher, Olynyk, all plus 1s or minus 1s. Jameson Battle ones as well. 2 for 3, and I'm actually been enjoying the Jameson Battle minutes as this season has gone on, because at least he can do something right. He can do one thing right, and that's what you take, and you'll be happy with that from him. Bruce Brown did get his first start of the season in this one, 12 points. Bruce Brown sort of stat line coming off the bench, 1 assist, 1 steal, 3 rebounds. He's still trying to find his way in this roster, and like I said, I'd like to see him find his way, get back up to playing scratch a little bit, and then instantly trade him, because I don't believe in his future here with the Raptors or in the league as a whole, to be honest. RJ Barrett, this is the last game that he played, 17 points. So even in this one, we didn't have an excuse for not scoring. 4 assists, R.J. Barrett, now we have a bigger load on Scotty with the playmaking and the scoring, and he's just not up for it at this current moment. And R.J. Barrett was really, I wouldn't say carrying this team because that would be like imply that we're winning. He's definitely been one of our core scorers and one of our core guys, and when you lose him as well, you look around and you just don't see a lot here on this roster that can get you excited and that can get you points in basketball. That's a huge part of basketball, and RJ Barrett does a good job of getting you points if that's what you need. And not many of the Raptors seem to be able to do so at this current standing in time. And a lot of the rookies have sort of, after a lucky start, they've sort of fallen back to being what you'd expect from them as rookies, making some mistakes, playing with less energy as they did at the beginning of the season when everything's fresh and new, and making some defensive mistakes as well. As we look on to the final game here, I'm going to be talking about the Memphis Grizzlies beat the Toronto Raptors 155, the most points scored against the Toronto Raptors. Let me just read the box score here for each of the quarters. 43 points in the first for Memphis, 35 in the second quarter, 43 once again in the third, and the least amount of points they'd score in a quarter, 34 in the fourth, leading to a total of 155. You had 21 of those come from Jaren Jackson Jr., 21 come from Zach Edey as they run their double big lineup against the Raptors where, sure, if we had Podol in this game, we could guard him, guard one of them, but Kelly Olynyk is being asked to guard Zach Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr., Scotty Barnes obviously being the other person on them, but just not happening. Not happening at all. As, both of them dominate, both over 10 rebounds, both over 20 points, and nearing 30 plus minus here. Ja Morant, even for a quiet game, they're going to save his legs. He scores 15. Scottie Pippen Jr., 15 off the bench. Luke Kennard, 15 off the bench. Brandon Clark, 11. Everybody was touching gold for this Memphis Grizzlies team. Desmond Bane doesn't even play more than 23 minutes. It was incredible. Jalen Wells with 5 threes. And it just seemed like everything was going right for the Grizzlies and nothing was going right for the Raptors. And the Raptors are allowing the Grizzlies just to get whatever they want defensively. Get any shot you want, you can take it. You can take it. We'll give you a 3. Okay, well, they're going to hit them sometimes. And that's what they've been working on. That's all the players, young guys, work on now is hitting 3s. If you're going to let them shoot 3s, they're going to hit them. And especially when you can't guard the interior either. You're going to let them shoot 3s and you can't guard the interior because you don't have Podol. That's what's going to happen. And look, like I said, I want to trade Podol. There's going to be a lot more games like that if we do. But I still don't think that's an acceptable performance from the Raptors either way. We once again give Shamshay 5 minutes because we don't know what else to do. DJ Carton finds the floor. That's not a good sign. Garrett Temple finds the floor. That's not a good sign. Garrett Temple playing in his 11th game this season. Those 11 games, it'd be interesting to see the stats here. How many wins does he have this season? He has 2 wins for 11 games. That's better than actually this Raptors team has done this season. So, hey, is it better? I don't think I can do math. It's not better, but basically the same. But Garrett Temple, obviously more of a coach out there in that 15th roster spot. Gonna be a player coach on the court in this one as the Raptors get killed. And it wasn't even the guys you'd think it was for Memphis. It was Scottie Pippen off the bench. It was Luke Kennard off the bench. It was Brandon Clark off the bench. It was a little bit of everybody because we let them get whatever they wanted, and they did whatever they wanted as the Raptors lose. And at this point in the season, look, I think we're going to keep around Darko for at least one more year, but if it doesn't turn around next season, I'd like to think we are going to have another change at the head coaching position because this is just unacceptable. This last 3-game stretch, this last 11-game stretch is unacceptable for a Raptors coach. And I know we're not going to be a good team and we're trying to lose games to get a high draft pick, but next season is different. We should have everybody healthy, and if we don't, and we don't win enough games to even sniff the play-in, I think Dart goes out and we reevaluate our head coaching position because, look, it's just not good enough. It's flat out bad for the Raptors. And that's what I'm going to end it on here today. I appreciate you guys for listening to me rant on these losses. There's going to be a lot more coming in the future. Let me just look at the schedule we have upcoming for the rest of the week. I know this is a little bit of a weird Wednesday episode. We have a game tonight against Brooklyn and then a game against Orlando. I'll probably pick up with you guys after the Milwaukee game. So Brooklyn, Orlando, Milwaukee. I don't trust this Raptors team in its current configuration to win any of these games. So we'll see how it goes. I appreciate you guys for listening to a Raptors podcast. I'll see you guys next week with probably some more losses and some more anger in my voice. So I appreciate you guys. Enjoy the new year. You can follow me on Twitter if you'd like at Lucky Roberts. You don't have to do that. Whatever you want to do. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. I'll see you guys next time.